Husband won't contribute to down payment of new home. Am I wrong for feeling like this is unfair? Me, 36F, and my husband, 29M, and I got married a year ago. We both make about $80K per year and own homes that we purchased prior to our marriage. He bought a condo in 2022 for $300,000 in 2022. I have a townhouse that I purchased in 2021 for $225,000. After we got engaged, he moved into my house. I have a daughter from a previous relationship, and she goes to school here. Initially, he struggled a bit with his employment situation. He lost his job and was only working part-time and wasn't really contributing to any household bills except food. I tried to be as supportive as I could during that time and didn't make a fuss about him not contributing to household expenses, as I figured he'd get back on his feet again soon. We got married in October of last year, and around that time he found more regular work, but continued to contribute unevenly. I ended up paying for more than half of the wedding, and he was only paying for the electric bill, the cell phone bill, and some food while still paying his own mortgage for the condo. I continued to pay for just about everything else. In November, he started paying my car payments. In total, he was contributing maybe $1,000 toward household expenses, whereas I was contributing at least $1,600. In January of this year, he started working full-time at his current job, and I thought that finally at that point he would start contributing equally toward household expenses. But he kept saying he needed to catch up on bills from when he was still unemployed, and every month when I brought up splitting expenses 50-50 or contributing equally to a joint account, he kept saying he needed more time. In April, he bought himself a new sports car that cost $57,000. I was angry about it because he told me it cost the same price as my car, which was only $35K. He didn't really need it, and part of the deal was that he would get something practical that he could use for side jobs as a PI, but he decided to go for a flashy fancy car instead. Now it's been 10 months since he started working full-time again. He has a $900 monthly payment for his new car, and he has yet to contribute anything towards the mortgage of the home we live in together, or split household expenses evenly with me. He also has another car that is a project car that has cost him probably about $3-4K in total and continues to cost him more and more. Current situation. We both want to relocate and move to a new house in a new city, but he refuses to sell his condo. He says he wants to keep it as an investment instead. I don't really know how much equity he has in his condo. He told me he put about $18K down on it, but I've looked up records and it says he's mortgaged for $240,000, so I really don't know. He keeps me in the dark about a lot of that stuff. He says he can make more money off it if he waits to sell it, but I don't know how long he wants to wait. His mom moved into his condo a few months ago, and she now pays for his mortgage. She uses it as a second home. Her primary residence is in New York. He's not making any extra money off her being a tenant. I don't agree that it's a great investment. Where NFL and condos here are going downhill, it seems to me more like it could be more of a liability. Plus, his mom keeps destroying stuff there. He also doesn't want to add my name to the condo anyway, so it'll always be solely his. Furthermore, I think the main reason he's keeping it is not to use it as an investment, but rather a place he can run to whenever he's mad at me and sleep there instead, which he does often. I feel like he's just keeping it just in case our marriage doesn't work out, and he's kind of admitted that. I think that we would benefit so much more from selling the condo and using that money for the down payment, but he doesn't seem to care what I have to say about it. He says he'll sell it eventually when he's ready to, and gets extremely angry and defensive with me when I suggest him selling it. He tells me I'm being controlling. He also starts insulting me, saying that I'm just after him for money, that I just want a rich guy to pay for my down payment and my house, etc. I don't appreciate him acting like I'm a gold digger for wanting him to be an equal contributor here. I'm his wife, and all I'm asking is for him to contribute equally towards the down payment. I feel like he just wants to squirrel away all his money, so he can spend it on car stuff while I pay for more than half of the bills here. So he has his fancy cars, he has his condo, and he has zero savings or money that he's willing to contribute towards a down payment for a new house together. I just don't think this is fair. I ask him where all his money is going every month if he's not paying any mortgages. He says he spends $3,000 on food every month. I find that hard to believe, especially since I do grocery shopping or treat for food sometimes, and the rest goes to his car payment and other car mods. I would have liked to have a joint account where we both contribute equally towards household expenses, but I'm not sure I even trust him enough to do that anymore because he hasn't been transparent about money with me. He also has student loan debt that he won't really talk about with me. On top of that, he's also being controlling about where we get to live. He has vetoed pretty much every house I've shown him. He'll complain he doesn't want the house because it doesn't have a garage, or he doesn't like the location, or wants something more urban, etc. Then if I don't like the houses he shows me, he gets upset and says I'm just saying no to those houses because I have no respect for him. One thing I really want is a backyard for our daughter to play in, and he says that I'm ridiculous for wanting that because she might outgrow it in a couple years. He has decided what our budget should be, even though he is not contributing. He says he will pay half the mortgage once we get the house, but his past history makes me doubt it. He also ran up my credit card, racked up over $1,000 on it, and he promised he'd pay it back before I have to start paying interest on it. But it's been over 3 months and he keeps making excuses why he can't pay me back yet. He also wants to start a business, and he asked me to give him money to help fund his business, or to give him my credit card to put expenses for his project car on. I feel used. This doesn't feel at all like what a marriage should feel like to me. I didn't get married so I could support a man to have all these fancy things while I'm stuck paying for more than my share of actual living costs. Not to mention that I do most of the cooking, cleaning, and child rearing as he's fairly hands-off with my daughter. He says I'm the one who's being controlling because I am telling him he needs to sell his condo. To be clear, I never once told him he needs to do anything, but I have expressed my unhappiness about him wanting to keep it. If he doesn't sell it, we won't be able to get anything decent, and I find that unfair. He could easily provide half, or possibly even the entire down payment for a new house, and he won't do it. Instead, I'll be on my own with the down payment, and we won't be able to really get something nicer than what we have. In all likelihood, it'll be a downgrade because homes are more expensive now than they were a few years ago. I was a single mom for years before I met him, and I didn't get married so that I could feel like I'm still all on my own. I don't feel like this is a team at all. I feel like he acts like he cares but doesn't want to give up anything to help provide for our family.